Most double lift tutorials teach you how to turn the cards over, but what they don't do is teach you the rest of the move. That's returning the cards to the deck as if it's only one card. And today, I'm going to teach you my technique for doing this so it looks exactly like it's supposed to. Welcome back, I'm Trevor, and today in the Magic Lab, I'm going to be teaching you my favorite technique for returning a double lift to the deck as if it's one singular card, the way it's supposed to look. Now recently, I watched a tutorial from my friend Kobe, a working professional, on how to do a more convincing double lift. And if you haven't seen that, you got to go check it out. I mean, right there. That's misdirection. That tutorial got me thinking so much about how important it is for us to have natural movements. And if turning a double over is important, then turning it back over is just as important. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, but before we get to that, I'm going to show you my technique. And first, I'm going to show you an at-speed view of what this should apparently look like. We take one card, and we can even do something like toss it through the deck, and now we have a completely different card. Let's start with a double lift. Now, I like to remove the card from the deck, but in doing so, the grip is really important for the following part of the technique. I don't want to come in here and grip. I want as much real estate on this card as possible. I want these fingers parallel to the bottom card. They come in, not hanging out here, just like so. My thumb grips and I remove the card. In doing so, you can square up if you want, but I really don't think this matters so much because in this case, it would just be a little bit of a black edge. If you're using the white bicycle cards, it would just be a little bit of a white edge. And again, you're not hanging out here forever. This is just a brief moment in time as we gesture and motion and we talk. Then we're usually taught to return the card like so. But adding this technique is so deceptive. I absolutely love this. And how I used to do it is I would line these cards up like so. And as the card was obscured, just at the moment that you couldn't see it anymore, my long finger, or now I call it my middle finger of my right hand, because maybe some people's other fingers are longer than others, I will kick that card forward and it's kept in line with my right hand, middle finger, and thumb. So see, I can just slide it up and down here. Now this thumb releases it. We're almost in a perfect position or scenario here. But this doesn't always happen, and that's why I changed the technique. Often, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go to return the card, you're going to come in even, and as you turn, you're going to do this, and that's going to happen. So I had to correct it by using my index finger, and you can see pushing up and pushing back, and it doesn't always square up correctly. That just wasn't good enough for me. So now I added this part. As I come back, I drop the card a half an inch below the deck here. So I come in at this angle, and as I come over, same thing, the card gets kicked forward, and then my thumb releases. Now here's what's nice. Naturally, look at, I don't have to reposition at all. My thumb is naturally already right here. And this in this squaring motion, everything looks perfect. Now we can rotate that card off, and obviously it's changed. So we'll do that again in slow motion. We're here. We come down half an inch, card is parallel, we turn it over. Right at this position, my middle finger starts to slide it up, it's kept in line with these fingers here, and then the thumb drops it, it's in position just to square as I come across. Now we can rotate that off, and now once you've returned the card, you can do anything you want. You can use it as a card control. Have the spectator return their card to the deck anywhere they want. Give the deck a little shuffle or a mix like so, and always finish with a cut to be fair, but at any point you can reveal their card in any way you want. You can simply just give it a spin and it changes, or you can just simply toss it through the deck and it changes. Or you can place it at the edge of the deck and with a snap, it changes as well. Any method that you know. The double lift is so important. It's integrated in so many card magic effects, which is why it's so important that we learn how to do it correctly, smoothly, and appear to be a natural movement, both turning it face up and returning it to the deck like we've talked about today. If there was just one technique that I could have encouraged myself to focus on more when I was a beginner, it would be the double lift. Every beginner or hobbyist should focus on the double lift because it's used or utilized so much in magic. Magicians think like magicians, and many believe that laymen know exactly what the double lift is. and they start seeking out other more difficult moves and exclude the double lift. But I think most great magicians are the best performers, and their techniques are often extremely simple. The double lift, like any technique, should never even be seen by the spectators. Now, we've all seen somebody do this amazing pass, up close view, and it's just beautiful, right? But we should never be focusing on that moment anyways. And I really liked on one of Lloyd's recent podcasts, he talked about that he only spends enough time learning a technique so that where it's proficient. He's not into trying to make it this amazing move, although I think he's being a little bit humble there, or a lot, because I think he's an amazing practitioner. But he's got a really good point. How many times do you practice a technique? 100? 1,000? Well, that's the magic number, and it's different for everyone. I think we just need to practice a move again until it's proficient, because we're not focusing on the move. We're focusing on the performance. And if spectators are engaged in the moment with a really good storyline or conversation, and you do any of the techniques or moves on the offbeat or with misdirection that's integrated into the routine correctly, the techniques can be, I'm going to say, almost horrible. My top change is terrible. Terrible. But I've never been caught. And that's because it's done during the correct moment when nobody is burning my hands. You're not waiting for somebody just to look down. You're controlling the audience. You're controlling their focus and their attention. And doing the move, like I said, should absolutely never be a problem. It's just a secondary part of the effect. Another thought is utilizing more techniques throughout your routine. This will enhance the deceptiveness of your methods. For example, when I'm building a routine, I like to use 3 different effects: a beginning, a middle, and a closer. And I'm utilizing completely different techniques through that entire routine. Now, for the first effect, most often, if not always, this is going to be the most fair one that I do. I'm going to go through the cards. I'm going to display them so they can see without saying that they're all different. I'm going to let them pick any card they want. That's how I routine my first effect. That way, their guard is let down. They're thinking, wow, I thought magicians always forced a card on us or made us pick a card. No, the cards are different. They can pick any card, again, without saying, but I want them to get that sense. And just when you feel at ease, that's when we add in technique. So for the first effect, they freely chose any card. We went through the process of turning it over. And then the second effect, maybe, we go through, we do the same process. We have them pick any card out, and then we turn it over again. But this time, we've done a double lift. And now we can continue to utilize different techniques throughout our routine, only to enhance the magic. The amount of techniques are almost endless. You don't want to just do techniques because that's just a trick. What you want to do is be a performer. You want to do magic. That's my thoughts on convincingly returning a double lift, just as important as initiating the double turnover itself. Using this technique, you don't have to use any get-readies, no pushovers, no pinky counts, no pinky pull-downs, absolutely nothing. It's that fair. And at any point, you can just reach in and turn that double over with ease. In fact, I can even put 3, 4, 5, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can put as many cards on top of the deck and just reach in with no effort and get that turnover. If you want to see that, again, go check out my recent tutorial. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have thinking about it and making it, and maybe you learned something along the way. I'd love to hear any thoughts or suggestions that you have. Place them in the comments. And at this point, I'm just waiting for something to inspire me, and then I'll make an episode about it. And if you're liking the content, please subscribe and hit like. I'll see you next time in the Magic Lab.